Colorado has had a second death from COVID-19. Now, we have no idea how many cases there truly are because testing limps along so slowly. The state says 183 people have tested positive, but they know that there's at least a backlog on the samples to test, and the governor has warned that thousands more likely have the virus.
Hospitals say they're starting to see an increase in patients who have respiratory problems. The State Hospital Association says it's preparing for an unexpected surge in patients in the coming weeks.
And there are two Coloradans in Congress in self-quarantine after they came in contact with someone who tested positive. Democratic Congressman Jason Crow and Republican Senator Cory Gardner were both told that they met with a constituent on March 11th who later tested positive. Neither of them are showing symptoms.
Public health officials say the second Coloradan to die was a man living in Weld County. We're told he's in his 70s, which is an age classified as a higher risk.
And the Weld County Health Department says that this man did have some underlying health issues.
A second person at a long-term care facility in Loveland has presumptively tested positive for COVID-19. The first was an employee who works at North Shore Health and Rehab. Now this time it's somebody who lived there. 9 News reporter Jordan Chavez met with Larimer County's Public Health Department in Jordan. Now they're concerned that, this is someone who lived there. This could potentially be more cases like him.
And that is exactly why they have brought in a team of infection preventionists as well as epidemiologists with the CDC and the state's health department to investigate the possible spread of this virus. They say that is because of the high-risk nature of the people inside this facility. Now, the state's health department as well as the county health department say it started with an employee in their 20s. They are quarantined at their home in Weld County. Now, the resident is in their 90s. We are told they are in isolation, still inside this facility. The county's health department says at least 6 other people who live here have been tested as well, but those tests came back negative. That's important. Larimer County's public health director says Columbine Health System, which owns this facility, has been cooperative during this entire investigation.
They're following all the CDC guidelines on what they call disease, stop transmission. And CDC was in the facility on Sunday working with them and assured us that Columbine Health Systems is doing everything they can to stop any more transmission of the virus within there.
Now, Larimer County's health department says they are expecting more cases, that is, as more results become available. Now, unfortunately, we don't know how many people have actually been tested here in Larimer County, and that is because private testing labs are not required to report those negative results. That is something the public health director says he would love to see changed, Alex.
All right, it's a scary scenario there. Thank you so much for keeping us posted. Now, when we look at West Virginia, they've actually reported their first case of coronavirus. It was the last state without a confirmed case. There are now more than 5,600 cases in the U.S. and 101 deaths. That's in the last 3 weeks. About half of the deaths have been in Washington state.
Kaiser Permanente, Colorado, is making some changes so that more patients can get medical care from home. Kaiser is expanding its telehealth and virtual care and consolidating its medical offices. The company says that keeping people home will help limit the spread of COVID-19 and keep them from unnecessarily using more of their personal protective equipment that's in short supply. Masks, gowns, gloves, and such. Kaiser is also postponing elective and non-urgent surgeries and procedures. The company says that'll leave room for the expected surge of critically ill patients. No visitors are allowed at Denver Health right now, with a few exceptions. The hospital started this policy at 5 o'clock today. The hospital says one visitor will be allowed with a patient in certain situations, like a mother in labor and patients who are under the age of 21.
If you suspect you have COVID-19, the state says that you should self-isolate for at least 7 days. It's at least 10 days for healthcare workers. Public health officials say patients should not interact with people until they don't have a fever for at least 72 hours. Isolation and quarantine are enforceable by law.
2 Australians with COVID-19 apparently violated an order to stay in their hotel in Aspen, and they went out skiing on Friday. It's a decision that could have landed them in front of a judge. Our 9 Wants to Know's Kevin Vaughn confirmed that state officials consider taking legal action to enforce the isolation order.
A Colorado ski getaway ended in COVID-19 for 10 Australians. But after 2 of them left isolation to hit the slopes, it was public health officials and Colorado's Attorney General who felt sick.
I got a courtesy call from the Attorney General's office.
Pitkin County DA Jeff Cheney talked to us over Skype.
And they just wanted to let me know they might be taking action to enforce an order.
Legal action contemplated to enforce an isolation order for those sick Australians. Ultimately, that didn't happen. in part because of confusion about what people should and shouldn't be doing.
Taking coordinated actions.
And to be fair, that very day, Governor Jared Polis suggested skiing was safe.
Ski lifts. Why not tell ski resorts, you're closed, or you can only have 250 or fewer people ski at a day?
Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, 250 people skiing a day, you're talking about a huge slope. So
the next day, Polis ordered the lifts shut down. By then, the isolation order had been lifted for the Australians, and they'd left town. But for the Pitkin County DA, there's a larger lesson. Violating a public health order is illegal.
You know, one could face fines, substantial fines, jail, incarceration. So it's a crime.
And even though Cheney's never charged someone with ignoring a public health order,
what's happening is the leadership in government is trying to balance public health, public safety, and honoring folks' constitutional freedoms.
it doesn't mean he won't.
Freedom might have to be curtailed to some extent in the event public health outweighs that. And
Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser said that his office will use the full force of the law to enforce compliance with public health orders. AG's full statement is in this article on 9news.com.
Colorado State says all of its classes will be online for the rest of the semester. CSU is on spring break. That's this week. The campus already empty, but Colorado State is now asking students who left for spring break not to come back to campus immediately. CSU says it's contacting students about dorms and meal plans. They also said international students who want to return home should go ahead and do that. CU had already asked its students to leave the dorms if they can, and today the chancellor canceled graduation ceremonies for this May. The chancellor says he was really worried about people traveling from out of state or even out of the country. He says they're looking into some virtual options to celebrate the graduating class.
If you have any questions about COVID-19, you can text us, send the word coronavirus, one word, to 303-871-1491. We'll text you back a couple of links with updates on the situation in Colorado and ways that you can help limit the spread.